back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Dave here, in my garage. Back on the Area 51 project this week. Didn't do a video last week, if you noticed, you missed me. But anyway, bump stops. Finally got some bump stops locally. So like this little man jammer, very expensive little piece of kit for what it is, and some for the back. Just generic universal ones. These are actually off something, but I can't remember what it was. And these are just universal ones, but I've got to figure out now how to mount them. Back should be pretty straightforward as long as we can get within the height range that I'll want. Front, I'm not too sure yet, so I'm going to have to put the airbags in the front, or my mock-up airbags in the front, and just kind of see where all my clearances and stuff like that are, and drop the front down and do all that whole kind of song and dance, trying to figure out where they've got to go and where they can go. These Mustang 2 front ends don't seem to have provision for a bump stop, whether it's built into the shocks or springs or whatever that normally come with them. But I'm looking on the interweb and I can't really see anything on the air ride setups either, so I figure maybe it's not a requirement in other countries like it is here. We have to have them to get it legal. But anyway, let's get at it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so got the Area 51 body out of the way. Oh, the legs just fell off my thing just fell off. Fixed. Just a little handle thing I got for the GoPro. Yeah, so body's outside. Get better access to what I got to do on the Area 51 chassis to suss out some bump stops, which are these little suckers here. I did have these little offcuts left over from some universal adjustable ones that I put on the back of the truck, the old bomb truck, but yeah, nah. I would just, they would probably be more hassle than they're worth. So I bought these for the front, these little ones for the front that I showed you earlier. Back ones will be pretty straightforward. I've just got to get it off axle stands at the back and work out where they need to go. They're going to go up under here, sort of in there, like not like that, but they're going to go in there, mounted up under the C notch. So there's a calculation I have to do for our requirements here in New Zealand to work out the bump stop scrub height, which we have to have in case there's a total air system failure and you need to be able to have limited steering and limited mobility to get it off the road and out of the way of traffic and stuff like that. The other thing is, like, if it gets a flat tire, you have to have clearances that you can get it off the road and out of the way. If it gets a blowout or something, it's not going to belly out on something structural under the car, steering or suspension, according to the book. The only thing I'm real concerned about is that lower mount for the four-link hangs below the chassis, which potentially will be my lowest point on the rear, and be the cross member in the front will be my lowest point on the front as part of my suspension steering. Nothing's going to hang lower than that, so we're good. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. Where do I go from here? We'll start with the back. Might start with the back, so that's nice and easy. Then I can, well, famous last words. Hopefully it'll be easy. So I'll suss that out. And shush, little dog. We've got a new neighbour over the road. They've got about 400 of these little yappy dogs, and they bark a lot. So yeah. Anyway, where was I going? Bloody dogs distracting me. So let's get this. I'll get some air into the bags on the back and get the stands out from under it, and then I'll tell you about this calculation that we have to do. It's real simple on this car because the tyres are going to be the same size all the way around, not putting bigs and littles on it. basically it's just half the sidewall is your scrub height. I'll explain this scrub height calculation that we have to do a little bit better. Okay, so if you've got like the same size tyres front and back, like I'm probably planning on running on this, you calculate your scrub height by measuring half of the sidewall sort of thing, like from this lip down to here, which in my case is about 140 mil, so my measurement would be about 70, so my scrub height with this size tyre would be 70 mil. But if you're running bigs and littles, you got to do it slightly different. So you got to run basically, you can do it mathematically, but the simple sort of explanation is you run a string line from here to the bottom of the tyre at the front, and then a string line from the rim lip to the bottom of the tyre at the back, and where they intersect in the middle you measure, and that gives you your scrub height. So running the same size tyres, same size tyres, the same as a measurement from the sidewall, you know. Probably should just double check it on the front with the engine weight. Now there's going to be obviously more weight in it than there will be at the moment, so I've got about 30 psi in all the tyres, just as my kind of benchmark, and you do it side to side as well. I don't really know why they've got that illustrated in the manual, in the technical advisory manual, hobby car manual thing that they've got that we can use as reference here in New Zealand. So I don't really know why you'd need to do it from side to side, left to right, because it should be the same. You don't run odd size tyres on, you know. I guess you could use it to check your scrub height for the front, maybe. True, yeah, there's a reason. I think it's logical. But anyway, so that's how we sort of measure that, and so that's kind of what I'm going to base mine on. It's about 70 millimeters is my kind of minimum for things to sit on. I was going to just hook in straight into doing the back, but I might actually chuck the airbags in the front. I haven't got enough fittings, I don't think, to be able to gear it up like I'm doing with the back. I might do. I'll have a look. That was just a hodgepodge of an old valve stem out of a wheelbarrow tyre or something. So I'll put the bags back in the back so I can bring the front down and set it at its lowest point on the cross member, and hopefully not hit the sump on the ground, because that's got to be changed now because I had to move the motor. Go and watch that video if you haven't watched it already. So I've got to find the airbags and fittings and stuff for the front, which are again in here, back there under that. It's got to do some auto archaeology, so get those out and fit those up. Okay, so I've got my bags for the front, which these are just mock-up bags. I'll get something nicer. I think these have got a couple of wear marks on them somewhere. These are second-hand ones I bought, hoping that they would be better, but they weren't, you know, marketplace. And fittings, so I'll be able to make something up out of that to do what I've done down the back there, a temporary thing. And under here somewhere, yeah, that little wheel down there, I'm going to pull the tube out of that and get the little valve stem out of there. It's a bit rugged, but it should work. Actually, I wonder, that box of goodies over there, there's some valve stems and something else. Might be able to snag me one out of there. We'll see. But first up, I'm going to take out my ride height blocks out of the front of this and put the bags in there, and then I've got to put something down underneath it, like under the cross member as my kind of stopping point. So I need to find something about 70, maybe 80 millimeters. I'll block it up about 80 mil, so it's kind of got a little bit of extra kind of squish for the old what's it called, bump stop. So right, let's get into that. I need a jack. There it is. It should do us. Don't judge me jacking off that sway bar. Right, just drop that onto there, just for now. I actually bolted these blocks of wood in here, well, coach screwed them, so they wouldn't fall out. Am I doing this the right way? I don't think so. One. So I'm gonna put some blocks under this cross member under here, the old Heights Mustang 2 cross member, but I'm gonna pack it out to about 80 millimeters to allow for a little bit of squish on the bump stop. That's my plan. Back not quite so critical, I don't think. Maybe. My thinking face. Got to factor in the extra weight of the car, but with the ideas that I've got in mind, I can still pack out these bump stops with spacers and stuff, shim them to kind of get me a little bit more clearance as well. So they're not going to be too set in concrete unadjustable. They should have some adjustment in them for getting my final scrub height if the certifier man wants more. Yeah. My airbag's already gone down the back. Not sure where the leak is. It's probably out of this doodad up here, or one of these, I don't know, or the fact that there's probably no sealant in the thingammy bobs anyway. But that's, don't worry about that, they're just mock up bags like I said, you know. So yeah, I'll drop the front down, put it on some blocks. Got me some of this and some of that. Will give me my sort of 80 millimeters that I'm after, and yeah, then we can have a play around, see what we can make. Well, I've been puzzling over this for probably the last hour and a half. I know how I'm going to do the back, that's easy. How I'm going to do the front, that's a whole nother matter. It's, for some reason my mind is just not imagining it. And I know you can get airbags with bump stops built in internal and stuff like that, which could be a way to go as well, but I just don't really know where that's going to land in relation to kind of getting my sort of final ride height without, you know, then having to build all sorts of spaces or completely rebuild how the mounts and stuff work. So still, for simplicity, I should be able to figure this out, and I've kind of got a bit of a plan, but it's real simple. Like, it's super simple what I want to do, but it's just doing it in a way that's going to please our low volume certification folk, and doing it in a way that's going to, you know, kind of look somewhat decentish, even though, you know, it's not going to be an exposed chassis show car type of thing. I just kind of want it to look kind of professional, not just some boogered together kind of crap. I've been playing around with bits of old steel and stuff out of the drawer, out of the scrap drawer, and kind of got a bit of a plan forming, so I might have to get into some cardboard templating and see if I can make something that's going to look somewhat okay-ish. There's all sorts of funny angles at play as well, which is does my head in a little bit, but yeah, so I need to bring the back up a little bit actually and get my scrub height kind of set, and then I can do it. Actually, or should I just put the back mounts and back bump stops? Might do that. I feel like I've done something. So that's going to be the centre for the hole, I think. It's about there. It actually could come back a little bit, I think. Yeah, I think I've got it now. Depends on what angle you're looking at it from. Tape measure. Sweet. Okay, my micrometer worked out the same on both sides, so that's good. Now I've got to transfer that mark, this one, transfer that mark across underneath on both sides, and then get a centre line, centre, and drill a hole, tap it, yeah. Alrighty, so get my square sorted. So transfer that line underneath, holding a camera and the square at the same time. That was terrible. That's like as crooked as can be. Alright, try again. Take 27. And I'll mark my centre as well. 100 mil, so 50. Right, mark my centre. That's my line. Got to drill a hole right there in the middle there and tap it. Mark the other side. Just transfer that down there. Just like that. holes drilled. Alright, so got myself a couple of 3/8 bolts. So now I just need to find a 3/8. Here it is. You can see. Looks about right, yeah? Sweet. Right, and tap these. Chuck a bit of this on there, just because I've got it now. Might as well use it. Hopefully not snap any taps and stuff. Now I've seen a lot of guys using their battery drills and hammer drills and drills of sorts to running a tap into a thing like this, but I have had nothing but snap taps when I've tried to do that, so I'll just stick to doing it by hand in case you're wondering. Okay, so tap the other side over there, that one. All that's left really now to do is sort of bolt them up and see where it lands. I've got a feeling I'm going to have to pack them out a little bit to get a little bit more ground clearance for my scrub height. Word of the week, scrub, 2 words of the week, scrub height. Yeah, so there you have it. So that's kind of where we're at. So just going to bolt these up. Oh, come on. Sweet, just like that. When I do the final assembly, they'll get some spring washers and stuff like that, but I haven't actually got any spring washers the right size. I need to go and buy a heap of them to be able to spring washer everything, because really none of this has got washers and spring washers on it at the moment, but we'll get there. There we go. Alright, drop this thing back down on the ground, I guess. Oh, might want to put the wheels back on. Alrighty, so that's the bump stops mounted up in the back for now. Like I say, I might need to kind of pack them out a little bit because we're still quite close to the ground on the old 4-link thingy bob there. I don't know how much I'm going to have to pack them up to kind of bring that up to clear. I might sort of try and get it through as it is. If not, had an idea, could maybe re-drill this, move that swivel with the point up, the bit where the thing goes through and the bush and the stuff, and I can actually get a nut in behind it, but there's not a lot of room for thread to follow through, you know, to kind of come out the other side. So I might have to kind of like drill all the way through so the bolt can kind of go through into the fish plate. But yeah, and then cut that off, and then that would give me the clearance that I need down here. And also, I mean, this is it fully laid out, so if that link arm is kind of swiveling from up here, it's not going to hit there at all. So we should be alright as far as that's concerned, if you know what I mean. It might actually help with some of the angles, the geometry and it's getting warm, on that 4-link setup. Could do that. Could do that, yeah. I don't know. I don't even know if I've got drill bits big enough to get all the way through without cutting stuff off and welding it back on, but we'll see. Alrighty, so back one's done. I think they're still a little bit low in the back, as I explained earlier, with the old 4-link mount thing. Anyway, so onto the front. I've actually just brought the front up another 8mm just for a little bit more compression on the bump stop. So next up is, I've kind of got a bit of a plan in my head, and I've got some cardboard to make a template, and so let's kind of get cutting and slicing and dicing on the old cardboard and see if I can figure this out in a way that's going to be goodish. So let's get at it. Alright, start off with that. So I need, where's my pen? So what I got to do is what am I doing? I don't know. I think I've completely pulled this up before I even started. I want a bit more. Yeah. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Money. Kinda, maybe, sorta. I want to try and get the angle about the same-ish as where the bottom arm's sitting, the plate the bag's mounted on, you know what I'm saying? Go through there, like so. Yeah, ideally I would have actually, I kind of should take it right into there, eh? Need some tape. Do a little bit of cardboard welding. How's this gonna go? Oh, wrong place. Close. Needs a little bit more up there, or a little bit taken out of the curve. Just cut the corner off. How's that for the... Okay, so I just was filming like kind of making my template, but the whole time I had my camera kind of pretty much pointed at the floor, so it probably won't be anything in there worth putting in this video. But essentially there's my basic template. Now there's a few things that need adjusting and whatnot, but that's kind of it. I'm just wondering what I can do with this back corner here, and I need to bring it a little bit wider out there. So if I follow the curve of the bump stop, I could just go straight up like that, so that will support it, as well as, so it'll be supported on like two sides. If push comes to shove, I could put another gusset thing up here, but I don't think it'll need it. If I make it out of 5 or 6mm plate, it should be plenty strong enough. You reckon? We'll find out. Oh, she's getting hot and humid now. I was going to try and make this bracket out of like one piece, and then I sort of looked at it and thought it's quite a complex cut with a couple of weird folds and that in it. So I'm going to make it out of 2 pieces. So I'll cut this tab and then that tab, and then I'll weld them together, because I want to get that fold kind of out of one piece. So I'm going to do that first tab out of these bits of think it's 5mm. Looks about 5mm. Yes, 5mm. So I'm going to do that out of those. So I'm going to do a left and a right. I've got to make sure I get the left and the right. Right. Yeah? Know what I'm saying? Cool. Good on you. Right, let's do this. Oh, these are almost the right angle. Oh, they are. Okay, cut those out. Ready? Let's do this. Okay, so don't clown around when you're doing the press. I almost pulled it down on top of myself. That's how much effort I was having to put in there, you know. Anyway, first step done, hopefully. I might as well drill the holes in there while I've got these two tied together. I've just shaved a little bit more off the curve in the top, so I'm just going to punch the hole. Making a mess. So that's getting humid, eh? Safety goggles would fog up and then you can't see anything. How safe is that? Huh? Really? I don't really get my curves very good. I wonder if I should clean them up. Yeah, I will do that. You can see, like, I just, yeah. Okay, we back. Okay, battery went dead. Right, step 2. I'm gonna mark it there. There, it's on there, like so, and straight line through there. Now, right, cut these two pieces out. Oh, here's my other two bits that are still really hot. Just remember that when you've been grinding on stuff. Alrighty, so got all my 4 pieces cut and trimmed to the point of trimmed. Like I've just been trimming them for the last hour or so, getting them to dial in and fit where they got to fit. So I might just sort of quickly tack them together and make sure they fit again, and then I'll weld them up. So I've just got to figure out how they go again now. Alrighty, so got my two pieces now all welded together. I was kind of hoping to just kind of weld them from one side with the old TIG and then just kind of leave them at that, but then I kind of had a little bit of a blobby thing on the end of one and a little blobby thing in the middle of the other, so I thought I'd grind them up. It also came back through, didn't film it, but I gave them a bit of a weld up on the inside. They're a bit wet because I just kind of cooled them up. So I tigged up the inside as well, because I was just concerned that I didn't have penetration all the way through, if that makes sense. Being an amateur, I really should get some like larger TIG rod, 2mm TIG rod or something like that. That's just 1.6. So yeah, let them cool off, dry off, and then I've got to prep up some clean steel to weld these home over here. Choice, really need to start having a bit of a clean up as well, but that's how it is. Alrighty, ready to weld these suckers onto the frame now, so wish me luck. Well, I'll weld the top side when I pull everything off the frame to flip it over. I reckon I'll probably do some more welding on the other side of it too. So, here goes. Ooh, my nippers. Okay. Alrighty, so welded on this side. This side actually kind of came up kind of nice, the welding, and I wasn't expecting it to. This side here, just a shit show. So I'm not going to be cleaning them up and putting any primer or anything on these. They're on there. Once I strip all the front end out and I can get in there a bit easier, I'll get in there with the old power file and the die grinder and tidy up my mess. Plus I've got to weld up some stuff on the inside and underneath on those things too. So I'm just going to let them cool off a bit, and then we'll chuck the little bump stops on and drop it down with the weight of the engine on it and see how much they compress with just the engine, let alone the rest of the car and all the other crap that's going to go in it when it's all done. Sorry, just cleaning up while I yarn to you guys while I wait for this to cool down. I don't want to put the things on there and kind of get them too hot or anything with the hot metal. Hey, don't want to melt them. Yeah, so give us a couple of minutes and then cool those off. Or we could, I'm thirsty, I want to get a drink. Okay, detour back to air fittings. So I'm going to make up just a quick, fast and dirty fitting to be able to put some air into these bags in the front and let it in and out and stuff like that. So, been through my fittings, found a T section here and a cap. I'm going to cut the guts out of that and fit it in there like I did on the back. 2 spin. That one's supposed to spin. Looks like it. Just like that. Pulled off here. Yep. Okay, my little cheapy GoPro thing, the leg keeps falling off it. Go figure. That's what you get for $11. Anyway, so about ride height. Well, it's actually slowly sinking because my fast and dirty air fitting leaks like a sieve. There was about so much clearance from the bump stop and the bottom A arm sort of thing, which is good sort of thing. That's kind of where we wanted it. But I didn't take into account quite how much these little suckers are gonna compress. So she ends up lower than I wanted it to be. Dang it. So I'm gonna have to extend those bump stops somehow by maybe 10 mil. I might try doing it with some washers just to kind of experiment, and then maybe get some big discs cut, because overall she's too low. She's only about 50 mil at the cross member, maybe slightly less, and then once we get the weight of the body and glass and interior, all that kind of stuff on there, she's gonna be touching down. So still gonna have to get a new sump. It clears for now, but man, she's close. With my weight on there, she still clears. So yeah, both front and back are probably a little low at this point still for our regulations. Dang it, and also my gearbox cross member is probably a little low. So I mean, this would be cool if I could, you know, get it legal like that, laying out that far, but it's just not a reality here in New Zealand. We are regulated, man, regulated, and only getting worse, trust me. So yeah, but bump stops are in. I've got a start point now. Yeah, I'm just gonna sort of dial them in a little bit, kind of more. Still might look at moving those front links up into that bracket a bit more and cutting that bracket down, because that would give me sort of 30 or 40 millimeters from my lowest hanging fruit, if you get what I'm saying. Gonna have to do the sump. Nothing I can do about the gearbox cross member. That is what it is. It's not steering or suspension, but it is kind of quite low. I'm just gonna have to experiment with trying to pack these out now, front and back, see if I can just get a little bit more scrub height out of them. It's definitely that sump though. You can see why I've got to change the sump, man. That is close. See if I can get the camera down there. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it, but there's only about there's about 5 millimeters. Whoa, gee, look at that. She's close, man, I tell you. So yeah, like I say, if there was a weight of the body and the rest of the car and front end, and you know, all the sheet metal and shit bolted on here, radiator fluids, that would compress those little doodads down even more, which will affect my scrub height even more, unfortunately. So yeah, still got some work to do, but that's it for this video because I've had enough, and I won't be back out here tomorrow. I've got to go and do some sign painting on a I think it's a 65 Nova or something, a gasser. I don't know. Yeah, so that's it for now. As always, thanks for watching, and if you're first time here, don't forget to subscribe, because you know, you'll miss out on all this kind of muckassery around, you know, and you might learn nothing. Till next time, take it easy. Peace.